What's up everyone, Marco here, and this right here in front of me is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K. I think I said that right. Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. Now, if you know my history of Blackmagic, you know that I've owned two Blackmagic cameras. I've owned the original, or the second original, Blackmagic Cinema Camera 4K, you know, the big tank thing, and then I owned an even bigger camera, the Blackmagic Ursa Mini 4.6K, for about a year. This right here is a 6K pocket camera. We did have a pocket camera a long time ago, but it was only able to record 1080p, but in RAW to SD cards. This thing is a little different, it's a little bigger, but the biggest surprising thing is this thing is super lightweight. Now, I looked on YouTube, not a whole lot of unboxing videos of this camera, so I wanted to show everybody what the experience was like. This is not going to be a super high quality video, just essentially just me unboxing this camera, showing what you get in the box when you buy this camera stock. Now, the price of this camera is $24.95, and what you get with this is a 6K camera capable of recording 6K RAW, obviously, and 4K ProRes, and obviously other resolutions in either full sensor mode or windowed sensor mode, especially when you're getting into those high frame rates. The interesting thing about this camera is its price tag. It's $2,500, and honestly, the only other camera I could think of that shoots 6K right now in the same price range is going to be the Panasonic S1H, which is well north of $4,000. Or I believe it's right over $4,000 if I'm not mistaken. So this camera is an absolute steal. Now the Pocket 4K camera is also an absolute steal at $12.95, but obviously that's only 4K and it's a 4/3 sensor instead of a Super 35 or APS-C size sensor on this camera. So let's go ahead, stop talking, and go ahead and unbox this thing. The packaging, you know, not the best. Blackmagic kinda is a budget-friendly camera company, so they're not going to wow you and dazzle you with the presentation, but it is a nice packaging. You know, the design is pretty functional and easy. So when you open up the box, you basically just get some pamphlets here. I think it's just gonna be easy if I show you. So you get a welcome pamphlet here, just tells you thank you for choosing Blackmagic. You do get included in price of both 4K and 6K cameras is Resolve 16 Studio Edition, which is a $299 price tag. So you get that for free. And it's cool because they give you just an activation code, so you don't have to worry about carrying a dongle with you like in the olden days. They do throw in this LP6 style battery. It says 2,000 milliamp hours. It's probably trash. It's actually like a generic battery. Highly recommend you get a different type of battery setup for your camera. And excuse my dog who's just walking around here. You also do get a power adapter with an actual 12 volt into your camera. So that's a standard industry camera connector here, and it's also lockable. So you put it on and then you twist it on so it doesn't come off. So that's pretty cool. And it comes, I'm assuming, with a ton of adapters, US, UK, England, or Europe, and other countries. You get a strap. Don't think anyone's going to use that. And then underneath here, you get, I guess, all your outlets, which you get quite a few, actually. So let me just, this might be easier. There we go. So you get a few different types of plugs. You get the US plug, get the European plug. You get the, I'm not quite sure which plug this is. I guess it's the UK plug. And then I'm not sure what region that plug is for. Maybe someone will let me know in the comments. But you get a ton of plugs. So if you go, you know, if you travel around the world like many cinematographers do, you are sure to find some kind of outlet that works. And then underneath that is your camera. So let's go ahead and just carry this sucker out. Man, this thing is super light. I'm gonna go ahead and just take this box down. There's nothing left inside of it. And here is the Pocket 6K. This thing is really tiny. Like, seriously tiny. I mean, it's not as small as the original Cinema Pocket camera, but this thing feels just like a DSLR. Now, the build quality is a little questionable. It's made out of a mixture of polycarbonate and carbon fiber, they say. Honestly, just feels like plastic to me. I mean, compared to something like a metal camera, like a Fujifilm X-T3 or X-T30, this thing feels a little cheaper, but it has a really awesome size grip. The ergonomics aren't quite as nice. I mean, I don't have relatively huge hands, but they're not small hands, and the grip is a little too big for me. So if you have bigger hands, it might work out for you. You got a 1/4-inch mounting port right here. You also have another one on the bottom for your tripod or anything else. So yeah, I mean, overall, it looks pretty nice. Let's go ahead and just pop that off. There we go. So inside there, if you can see, is that Super 35 sensor, essentially the same size as an APS-C camera. So you do get about a 1.5 times crop compared to full frame. The back, you have a 5-inch 1080p display, so you can see what you're doing. It does not articulate any single way. The cool thing about this camera are the port selections. So if you open up all the ports here, let me just run them down. If I can open the last one, which seems a little, there we go. So you get a microphone in 3.5, a headphone out 3.5, a full-size HDMI. One quick note, it only does up to 1080p out of that, so it's good for monitoring. But again, you're recording RAW and ProRes internal in the camera. Actually, there's a few other options you have as well. You have your 12-volt in and then a mini XLR if you want to use that. It's a higher quality connection for your audio there, so you do have that option if you choose. So let's go ahead and then look on the other side, which I believe is this door. And then you get an SD card slot, which I believe would be, you could actually use that for some 1080p recording. And then you get a CFast 2.0 card. Super expensive media. It's actually what I use in the Ursa Mini 4.6K, and it literally costs so much money compared to today, but still it's a very expensive medium for your media. So let me tell you about the best setup, I think, if you want to run and gun and do this on a shoestring budget. So let's go ahead and talk about what I think is the best setup for this camera and try to keep it under like $4 grand. Okay, so if you're on a shoestring budget and you want to shoot with this 6K camera, here is my recommendation. The great thing about this camera is it takes native Canon EF lenses. Honestly, I think the best one and all lens for almost every shooting situation is this guy right here. This is the awesome Sigma 18-35 f1.8 lens. It's constant aperture, super awesome, super high quality glass. It is my favorite piece of glass for Canon, Nikon, and really anything this is available for, which I think is also available now for E-mount. But because this uses EF lenses, you can pick one of these up either new for like $700, pre-owned, super easy, maybe about $300 or $400 on eBay. It's just a great lens. It's awesome, shallow depth of field. Optics are fantastic. It's super sharp, and again, constant aperture on the whole range. And it's an internal zoom, so it doesn't extend at all. And you actually get a full-on manual focus ring with focus distance markings into the lens. You don't have to worry about a camera displaying it properly. And you also do get things like autofocus and everything else. It's not stabilized, but it's an awesome lens. Highly recommend it. So there you got your lens. Your one and all lens. In terms of storage, this camera has a USB-C port, and it also supports USB 3.1 or 2. I can't quite remember. But if you do have any kind of SSD that uses USB-C, or you can use an adapter, you can plug straight into the camera. So a really popular combination, mainly because of its size and its price, is you get something like the Samsung T5 SSD. This is a 1 terabyte drive. It was like $160. You get 1 terabyte of recording. You plug it into a USB-C cable right into the camera, and it records directly into the drive. The really cool thing about it is once you're finished shooting, you can take this, put it on your laptop, and edit straight from the drive. No type of transferring documents or data. It's all stored on here. It's a great source of medium. You can buy a couple of these and always have storage to record on. It's hot swappable. It's really, really awesome. So you get a T5 and then the Sigma 18-35. Now the last thing about this camera is power. It shoots 6K RAW. It shoots 4K ProRes, tons of high frame rate options, and it's a Super 35 camera. Has a huge 5-inch display. It's a power hungry beast. So how are you going to power this thing? Well, this is the priciest option, I think, or one of the pricier options, is this guy. This is a power base. Now, I've used a couple of these for the older Blackmagic camera, the Cinema 4K camera, and that was actually mounted on top of the camera, so it looks really, really janky. This can actually go on the bottom of the camera, and on the side of this thing, you get this little power cord. and this is a dummy LPE6 battery. You put this inside the camera, this thing goes on the bottom of the camera, and it also still gives you a tripod mount, so you don't lose that, and it powers your camera for a few hours. This is a 49 watt-hour battery. It has D-tap, so you can power off other things. It has 2 USB outs to power other things that you have, so if you have a monitor that you can power this off of, it's a really awesome setup, and it also keeps the weight down. Now, you can get a huge V-mount battery or a gold mount battery and just get a D-tap to about 12 or about 2-pin connector right here. You could do that, and that's completely up to you. Those batteries are huge. You'll probably run this thing for 6-7 hours. This thing will run it comfortably for about 2 to 3 hours, and it has a great digital display. It tells you the state of charge that it's at. It's really, really cool. It's a really easy setup, very handheld, super cool. I think this, all in all, I think was around $3,500. I'll leave links to all of these items from B&H, so big shout out to B&H for hooking us up with this stuff to use and test and shoot videos with. And yeah, I mean, I think this is an excellent setup. Now, who is this camera for? If you're a filmmaker or you're trying to get some indie films produced, this is an excellent camera. Again, this is an extremely awesome camera. It's so small. And it's the highest resolution Blackmagic camera that they sell, and it's not the most expensive camera. That it goes to the Ursa Mini 4.6K Pro G2, which is I think $5,000 and above. This thing is awesome. I'm really excited to test this thing. You know, I've always been a Blackmagic fan. I love DaVinci Resolve. You do need that for Blackmagic RAW, which is a compressed version of the RAW, which go up to, I believe, 12:1 compression ratio, and as low as 3:1 in terms of large file sizes. So you do need a slightly or more powerful computer to process those. But again, it gives you 12-bit recording, which is awesome, and RAW, so you can really push the image the way you want. So this has been my quick unboxing and quick setup of the Blackmagic Pocket 6K. I will be testing this camera for the next few, I guess, about 2 months or so. I'll be shooting videos with it, and then I will try to give you multiple pieces of content, including a full review and my thoughts on this camera. So stay tuned, make sure to subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, and again, make sure to check out all the links below to all of this if you want to check it out for yourself. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great one. See you later.